Most people spend their entire lives working hard and somehow still feel stuck. Same effort, same job, same paycheck, year after year. They're trading their most precious asset, time, for a life that feels like a photocopy of the day before. But the people who build extraordinary lives, the ones who seem to have it all, they follow one simple rule most people never learn. It's not about working more hours. It's not about finding a side hustle. And it's definitely not about luck. Once you understand this rule, the way you think about your career, your money, and your future will completely change. By the end of this video, you won't just see your job differently, you'll see yourself differently. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right, but life just isn't moving forward? You wake up early, you're the first one in the office or the last one to leave the job site, give your blood, sweat, and tears to your company every single day, you're a good worker, yet somehow the progress feels tectonic. It's moving, but so slowly you can't even see it. Promotions take forever. Your income barely keeps up with the price of eggs and rent. And the life you imagined to travel, the freedom, the peace of mind still feels like a movie poster for a film you're not starring in. For a long time, I believed the answer was simple. Just work harder, grind, hustle. Sleep is for the weak, right? So that's exactly what I did. I doubled down. I took on more tasks. I said yes to every overtime shift. And at first, it felt like the right thing. I was busy. But then the burnout hit. And when I looked at my life, something strange happened. The harder I worked for my boss, the more my life stayed exactly the same. I was building someone else's empire, while my own territory was a desert. Then one day, I ran into a philosophy that felt like a slap in the face. It came from a mentor who looked at my struggle and said, "Son, you're looking at the wrong side of the equation." At first it sounded too simple. It's almost like a greeting card cliche. But as I sat with it, I realized it was the most dangerous truth I'd ever heard. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Think about that. Really think about it. Most people do the exact opposite. They pour 100% of their mental energy into their tasks, their emails, and their deadlines. They become experts at their company's software, but they are strangers to their own minds. They work 40 hours a week for a paycheck, but 0 hours a week on the person receiving that paycheck. That difference? That is the gap between making a living and making a fortune. Here's the fundamental shift. If you work hard at your job, you can earn a living. Look, there's nothing wrong with that. Making a living is honorable. It keeps the lights on. But if you work hard on yourself, you can create an entirely different level of existence. Success is not a cat you chase down the street. If you chase success, it will run away. Success is something you attract by becoming an attractive person. I don't mean physical looks. I mean value. Imagine two people. Let's call them Mark and Sarah. They work the same job, same hours, same cubicles. Mark does exactly what's in his job description. He's a hard worker on his job. But Sarah spends her evenings learning how to negotiate. She reads books on psychology to understand her clients better. She takes a public speaking course on the weekend. She's working hard on Sarah. Over time, who does the CEO want in the room for the big deal? Who does the competitor want to headhunt for double the salary? It's not the person who just did their job. It's the person who became a more valuable human being. There is a law in the marketplace that no one mentions in school. Your income rarely grows faster than your personal value. Money is just a mirror. It reflects the value you bring to the marketplace. If you're making $20 an hour, it's because the marketplace has decided that the version of you that shows up to work is worth $20 an hour. If you want the scale to tip, you can't just scream at the scale. You have to put more weight on the value side. If you double your skills, you don't just get a 5% raise, you double your opportunities. If you triple your value by becoming a master communicator or a technical expert, your income can explode by 10x. Most people hit a ceiling because they only increase their effort. But effort without growth is just spinning your wheels in the mud. You're getting tired, but you're not getting out. Now let's get real. The work we do in our jobs is actually the easy part. Following a checklist? Showing up at 9 a.m.? It's cake. The hardest work you will ever do is the work you do on the person in the mirror. Why do we procrastinate when we know exactly what we need to do to change our lives? Right. Why do we hesitate to call that lead or start that project? It's because we are battling our own temperament, our own laziness, and our own fear. Success is 20% mechanics and 80% psychology. Working on yourself means mastering your emotions. It means training your discipline like a muscle. It means being the boss of yourself before you try to be the boss of anyone else. If you can't manage your own morning, how can you expect to manage $1 million portfolio? I used to think the world was out to get me. I thought the system was rigged. But a mentor once told me something that changed my perspective on the world. He said, "You know, there are only about 11 or 12 real nasty, miserable, horrible people in the entire world." I looked at him, confused. He laughed and said, "The problem is, they move around a lot. You're bound to run into one of them on a Tuesday. But when you do, don't let them ruin your life. Just say, well, that's one of the 12. Glad I got him out of the way." The truth is, the world is mostly full of people who want to help. The biggest obstacle isn't them. It's not the economy or your boss. It's your willingness to grow. So, what does working on yourself actually look like in the real world? It's not just sitting under a tree meditating, it's tactical. The 10-page rule: read 10 pages of a book every day, not fiction books on leadership, finance, or psychology. In a year, that's 15 books. You'll know more than 99% of the population. Skill stacking. Learn one skill that complements your job. If you're a designer, learn sales. If you're a coder, learn public speaking, language and communication. The person who can explain an idea clearly is the person who gets paid. Work on your vocabulary. Work on your tone. Health is wealth. You can't build a fortune in a body that's breaking down. Discipline in the gym translates to discipline in the boardroom. Every new skill is a new hook that allows you to catch bigger opportunities. At the end of the day, your job is not your most important investment. You are. Jobs can be cut. Industries can be disrupted by AI. Economies can crash. But the value you build inside yourself, no one can tax that. No one can fire that. No one can steal that. When you start becoming more, life has no choice but to give you more. It's not a wish, it's a law. Stop chasing the butterfly. Start building a garden so beautiful that the butterflies have no choice but to land on your shoulder. Don't just work hard this week. Work hard on you, because the world belongs to the people who are brave enough to grow. If this philosophy clicked for you, hit the like button and subscribe. And if you're ready to take the first step in working on yourself, watch this next video on mastering your mindset. I'll see you in the next one.